Welcome into another episode of New England Sports Guys podcast. I'm your host, Ian Mann, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Nice Cavs, Chris Smith. And
I didn't see that on there.
I just added it.
That's funny as hell.
So we haven't done a podcast in probably a month or so. You know, life's getting busy. So there's a lot of news going on in the NFL, and we're going to try to get to all that. Dan Snyder has some news. There's been a lot of trades that have happened lately. Teams are starting to figure out whether or not they're in it or out of it, and trying to acquire players and picks. Been a lot of injuries. We'll cover Thursday Night Football. We'll do the Pats review of what they did last week against the Bears, which wasn't much, and then we'll do this week's.
All right, we're done.
We'll do this week's preview against the Jets. We'll talk about a little fantasy football, and then we'll talk about what we've been up to. So let's get straight into it. So Dan Snyder basically came out and said, if I go down, everyone else is going down too. And I believe Dan Snyder is a lawyer and has a law firm, and he had his law firm or PIs dig into the other owners. So I'm curious as to what he found, but nothing that not anybody else could have done, So I don't think Dan has anything worth that's really going to protect him, I don't think. So the NFL is also investigating Dan Snyder for, sexual harassment, environment, and allegations and stuff like that. And they voted 30-1 to keep investigating. So the first investigation, though, was kind of a sham because they didn't write anything down. What kind of investigation is that? They did the NFL did an investigation on themselves and were like, we didn't write anything down.
Didn't find anything. It wasn't good enough to write it down.
Yeah, what
it's like a cop. Every cop show, everything like that, they have the notepad. It's them going, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good.
And so the NFL did the investigation because they deemed that the Commanders couldn't do it on themselves. Well, it turns out the NFL can't do it on themselves either. So the Congress is going to get involved, and I don't know if they will or not. But the only owner that didn't vote to keep it looking was Jerry Jones. So maybe him and maybe Jerry has some stuff. Maybe Jerry's the only one that wants to protect him. But Jim Irsay came out and said that there's merit to ousting Dan Snyder, or at least listening that could be a possibility. The biggest problem is that it takes 24 votes, and I'm not that's a big number. But the problem is I don't think Dan Snyder has enough dirt or anything serious enough that it's going to hurt more than 7 owners, right?
So what happens? What happens if hypothetically, right? What happens if Dan Snyder comes out and he gets the 24 votes and to vote him out, but then Dan Snyder says, I have all this dirt on all of them, and it's valid dirt. Do all the owners, at that point, do all of them just say, yeah, maybe we'll just sweep it all under the rug and just keep owning our teams? Because you go to 24 if he gets voted out, or should be 23 to get voted out because it's 2/3, right? Or three-quarter. Three-quarter vote. So if he gets voted out, that's one less vote. And then if he has enough dirt, let's say on Jerry Jones, the one, and I'm just saying again, hypothetically, then it goes to 22 votes, and so.
Sure. I want it all to come out just because, I think some of this has to do with how John Gruden's career got assassinated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that was about what? Internal emails and a little bit of racism in there. I don't know what could possibly come out that's going to frighten 24 owners or more away, unless it has something to do with when they knew concussions and what it was doing to players, because that could just open them up to liability and paying more than they want to, I guess. I don't know if it's going to be enough for anybody to lose a team or anything. But if they can prove more racism or sexism or anything like that, then maybe they took Jerry Richardson's team away because sexual harassment in the workplace. So I don't know if there's anything big enough that can come out at this point that would frighten enough owners away. I mean, Jim Irsay got pulled over with like a ton of drugs, and they were like, suspension for a year.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of cocaine.
Yeah. And like, we all know about the Robert Kraft situation, the massage parlor, but like he's not losing his team or anything. So I don't think anything's going to come up to the level where they're just tired of Dan Snyder and like would rather let this stuff air out than deal with Dan Snyder anymore. So that's how I see it.
Because he's a dirtbag.
He is a dirtbag.
I hope what comes out in December when they have their owners meetings or whatever they call it.
Yeah, they just did the fall ones. That's where all this news came out. The fall ones happened in October.
I hope they come out and they vote on it and he doesn't have a team anymore and he's forced to sell.
I got to sell my team for what? The Broncos went for what? $4 billion?
Yeah, I don't think Washington's quite there. They're probably closer to the
2.5. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, still, it's not much of a punishment. Like, not that he's necessarily done anything illegal, but
he's done a bunch of shit illegal.
I don't know how much of it's illegal, but sure, the sexual harassment stuff, yes.
Yeah.
But that would need to be like a criminal investigation and criminal punishment. But as far as like the NFL doesn't criminally punish anybody because they can't. Legally can't. So yeah, the only thing the NFL could do is they can't. I don't know if they can take a team away from you, but they could force you to sell it. I don't know all the owner bylaws or whatever, but like I said, the punishment. Oh, I lost my team, but I made a profit of $2 billion. It's Crimea River. Anyway, on to the next topic. We're gonna go into trades. So over the last month, teams are figuring out whether or not they're contenders or pretenders, and the 49ers, we realized the Panthers are pretenders. They fired their coach. They're going full redraft, rebuild mode.
I don't think they were ever...
they have a lights-out defense. They just couldn't figure it out on offense. They couldn't find a quarterback.
The only point they were close to being competitive in that division was week 1.
Sure.
that team's bad, even with CMC and Robbie Anderson, which we'll talk about in just a second, but I mean, they have a young defense. It's good. I hope DJ Moore lights it on fire though, because now I got him.
The problem is they couldn't solve the quarterback problem. If you can't land a franchise quarterback, they tried to get Baker. They tried to do Sam Darnold. They had Teddy Bridgewater for a year. I forget who was in front of who was before him. Cam Newton, maybe.
Cam Newton. And there was somebody else too, I thought. They
just couldn't pull it together. So Matt Rule gets the axe, and some Panthers are trying to rebuild.
How much do they owe Matt Rule? I know this isn't on the.
They owe him a lot. They fired him in year 3 out of a 7-year deal. I think it was like $68 million deal. It was a big deal. So they should
$62 million contract.
Yeah. He was in year 3.
$40 million not to coach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Rough. So CMC goes to the 49ers. I instantly like the 49ers more. Because Deebo Samuel has always been quote unquote a running back that plays wide receiver. He's kind of more of a stout kind of guy, and he played a lot of running back last year for him. So he's kind of that switchblade, and CMC sort of fits that mold as well. He can catch. He's the premier pass catcher in the league. So he can play slot. I think they could do a lot of things with both of them on the field. So I really like the 49ers' chances. I know that the Rams wanted him, so the Rams are pissed right now.
I'm really surprised the 49ers traded for him. Jeff Wilson was doing well in
absence, or in Elijah
Mitchell's absence. I mean,
Elijah Mitchell's coming back, and so now they're trying to trade Jeff Wilson,
which is great because I have Jeff Wilson in one of my leagues. So he was doing pretty well in his absence. I was really surprised that they actually traded for CMC, especially considering I don't know how they got that cap to work.
Magic. CMC only makes $12 million, which is a lot for a running back, but It's at the top end of the running back scale this year. But yeah, I don't know how they make that work. Maybe they had cap room. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I don't. I mean, they'll have some with Elijah Mitchell, but I think he was still on a rookie contract. Trey Lance, because he was a first rounder.
I know Jimmy G's not making that much.
That's true.
That's where it is. Jimmy G restructured his deal and lost like $20 million.
Yeah, well, he's getting paid $20 million a different way.
Sure, but he was supposed to make like 26, like guaranteed, and now he's making like 6 plus incentives.
Yeah, which is like 20 million or 30 million in incentives.
So this is the 49ers offense, the Shanahan offense. Like his scheme will literally work for any running back, essentially. So this reminds me of the Patriots offense as well. The Patriots offense will work for any quarterback, but when you put in a good player, it'll work. But if you put in a better player or a great player, like it explodes. So like going from Jeff Wilson in the 49ers run scheme to CMC in the run scheme, I think that's just elevates it. Same thing with the Patriots. The Patriots are going through this faux controversy with Bailey Zappi. They just need somebody who doesn't turn the ball over, and you can thrive in New England. But Mac Jones, I think, is a better thrower and makes better decisions. Bill Belichick doesn't care. The offense is going to run the same most of the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, you say that except for the Cam Newton experiment.
He
doesn't fit in that whole thing.
No, but they didn't try to run the Patriot offense either.
A little bit.
They ran Cam Newton's offense.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, those are two instances where the coaches are so high on their system that they don't care so much about who's playing the position. We'll get to this a little bit later with the Patriots, but
yeah, I actually want to talk about that because I listened to a breakdown on Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones and why they think Bailey Zappi is going to be more successful than Mac Jones. So
yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yep.
So the next big trade was the Eagles. The Eagles are undefeated. So the Eagles went out and shored up their D-line. They went and got Robert Quinn. He's a veteran from the Bears.
He's a monster.
The Bears are not going to win. So yeah, they got Robert Quinn. I think it's a good move for the Eagles. You can't really blame them. They started up hot. They're going to win most likely going to win their division. Them and Dallas are pretty close in record, but the next one was Kadarius Toney.
What were those trades for? Sorry, I don't remember what the two trades were for.
CMC was for like a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, but none of that matters because they're all late round picks because San Francisco is going to be like, pick 28 or whatever. Well, if they win the Super Bowl, then, it's pick 32.
Yep.
Robert Quinn got traded for a fourth.
Okay.
Toney was traded to the Chiefs. I don't know what he got traded for. I think it was a third and a sixth.
Bag of footballs.
And I'm not worried about that one because I think it's a different regime. So maybe he didn't fit their skill set or their plan. So when you have a different GM come in and you picked a player from the previous regime, usually you ship those players out.
Not your players, right? And that's one of the things that's
no
tough.
Loyalty.
That's one of the things that's tough because GMs, they don't necessarily stick around that often either. So that's why there's so much turnover over a lot of these rosters when you don't have a consistent general manager, head coach to keep people, in their spot.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Mac Jones and his OC situation later as well. So the Cowboys traded for a D tackle Hankins from the Raiders for a 6th-round pick. They're shoring up their D line. Cowboys defense is lights out this year, probably top defense in the league would be my guess. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded away James Robinson to the Jets for a conditional 6th-round pick. It turns into a 5th if he runs for 260 yards, which is pretty manageable.
Week 1 against Denver here shortly.
Oh no, Denver's defense is good. Denver's offense sucks.
They're going to trade away Bradley Chubb. They're probably not going to play him this week, so he doesn't get hurt.
Maybe. But I think that was a good. So the Jets are what, 5-1, 6-1, 4-2, something like that.
4-2, I think.
And they just lost Breece Hall.
And Breece Hall went down,
to an ACL, so they need a running back to play this year. They could have played Michael Carter the whole time, but I don't think he's quite that. I think he's more of a scat back. So I thought it was a good trade for. I thought it was a good play for the Jets, and I thought it was a good play for the Jaguars because the Jaguars aren't going anywhere either. And I have Travis Etienne in my fantasy team, so it's good that he's no longer in a split backfield anymore. That's the biggest thing.
Well, and they found out that Etienne's fully healthy and he's a monster on the field against that team. He's played really well since he's come and been like kind of the lead back, right? So it gave them that flexibility to be able to get rid of Robinson.
Yeah, he took over touches the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Before it was split, now it's not.
Yep.
So the Cards traded for Robbie Anderson because Hollywood Brown hit the IR. It might be season ending, it might not be, but they'll reevaluate him later down the road.
Well, in the before Robbie Anderson got in that argument with his wide receiver coach, wide receiver coach, they basically said you're not going to play another snap, and the next day he was shipped out. So
yeah, so the new head coach is Steve Wilkes, who's taken over from Matt Rule.
Yep.
I don't know what they were fighting about, but he was like, "Yeah, go to the locker room, bud," and then the next day he was gone.
Yep.
So the Browns get Deion Jones, linebacker from the Falcons. They swapped 2024 6th and 7th round picks. It's a weird deal. That's basically worthless. But the Browns get a linebacker. So, so we'll get into some NFL news. So before we get to the news, I assume that there are going to be some more trades. The trade deadline's I think like Tuesday or something. It's coming right up. So I don't know if there are going to be any blockbusters, but there are going to be some more shoring up, contenders. So we'll get to some NFL injuries. So Breece Hall tore his ACL. He was probably going to win Rookie of the Year, ACL down. The Jets also lost Vera Tucker to a tricep injury. He's out for the year. Thursday Night Football, Shaq Barrett tore his Achilles. Out for the year for the Bucks. Mark Andrews, he hurt his shoulder. I don't know his prognosis, but he was out for the rest of that game. Isaiah Likely came in and tore it up. Jamar Chase has a hip injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Debo Samuel's out this week with a hamstring.
Really quickly on Jamar Chase, I just traded for him. So, but I had him in another league anyway. The difficult thing about having 4 leagues is you have some in one league, you play against them anyway. It was like all of a sudden he had, I think, a torn labrum and something else in his hip. And all of a sudden he was out 4 to 6 weeks, but they're like, yeah, we're not putting him in IR. Why wouldn't you? Because if he goes on IR, it's 4 games, right? No minimum, but you can bring him back. So
yeah, they changed the IR rules from short term to long term, but I think it's now just 4 weeks, regardless.
If he's out 4 already, I mean, do they expect him to get healed and be back in 3? I mean, is it?
NFL players heal faster than other people. So
well, when you get the HGH pumped into you, that certainly helps.
If they have the roster room, whatever.
I mean, they're fighting for a spot, right? They're 4-3, second in division behind Baltimore.
Yeah, but Baltimore's not running away with it.
No, they're 5-3. So it's certainly, but you're losing arguably top 3 wide receiver in the league.
Mm-hmm. All I know is I want to own T. Higgins right now, or Boyd. One of those guys their volume's going to go through the roof.
Both of them. The shit, even Hayden Hurst, his volume's going to go through the roof.
Yep.
It's not a bad idea to go look at that.
So Debo's out with a hamstring. Zeke is out with a knee, so you're going to see a lot of Tony Pollard this week. About time. Pollard. Like 3 years we've been hearing about this guy. He's about to play.
Yeah.
J.C. Jackson ruptured patella tendon, out for the season. Former Patriot cornerback. Plays for the Chargers now. Ryan Tannehill's not suiting up. I guess he doesn't feel well and has a bad ankle. So here's the James Conner is out with the ribs, so Benjamin's going to play in his spot, and he played really well last week. He ran for over 100 yards and touchdown, I think. Matt Ryan is out with a shoulder injury, but like a grade 2 shoulder separation, but that's not why they're benching him. I think the owner stepped in, Jim Irsay stepped in and was like, you got to play this other guy. or the GM. Somebody came in and was like, Matt Ryan's bad. Let's play Sam Ellinger and see what he has, which is kind of interesting, but I don't like it when owners get involved with player decisions. Let the coach do his job. Do you have any input on that?
On the Matt Ryan thing. So
he signed a 3-year deal. So like he was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah. And he's not going to get cut because it's so much money in dead cap. They're in a bad place, but Matt Ryan has played bad this year. That offensive line has played bad. I mean, they can't run block or pass block right now.
Yeah. So is that on Matt Ryan or is that on the offensive line? Because he was told that he's going to be behind a good offensive line, good running game, and they can't block or run the ball. So
you know what? I had this up, and I told you before we started, but so Matt Ryan has turned the ball over 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times this year.
So he's Daniel Jones this year.
Only 3 fumbles though.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Only 3 fumbles lost.
Oh.
He's had 4,
but he has like 12
5,
fumbles.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fumbles.
That's ridiculous.
And then a lot of picks. But yeah, if you have a bad offensive line in front of Matt Ryan, a guy who's a pocket passer, not a great mover in the pocket. Yes, exactly. You're going to get, if you get any pressure on him, he's going to make tough decisions or try to fit it into small windows or whatever. So,
Tom Brady's a statue behind a bad offensive line. He still gets rid of the ball. There are ways to beat it. Teams just, I don't know. So that reminds me of like the Miami last year. They're like, we're going to run a 7-step drop with Tua. And then the wonder when he turns around, because like, the offensive line isn't good enough to hold for 3 seconds, let alone enough to like throw a 7-step drop. Like the teams have to adjust to what their personnel is. And I think a lot of this is, we've already talked about before, but like the first month of the season is now the preseason.
Yeah.
So teams,
it really is.
So O-lines are not what they're supposed to be. I think the defense has an advantage over a lot of offenses to start the year. O-lines haven't quite gelled yet, and a lot of injuries and this and that. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, I feel for Matt Ryan. I'm excited to see Ellinger. I mean, he's been kind of the guy in waiting over multiple quarterbacks now, and see what he can do. It always gives you.
Came into Texas. He was known for running.
It always gives you a lot of confidence, right? When they come out and say you're the guy, no matter what. You know, you're going to be the starter. So he's 24, 6'3", 222. He's a decent-sized human being.
On paper, the Colts have the best weapons besides the Bucs. On paper.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You have Pittman, you have Alec Pierce, you have Paris Campbell. And I understand Campbell hasn't done a ton, but in the last couple of games, he has like 22 catches.
Woods,
the tight ends are outstanding.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Nyheim Hines and Taylor at running back, and then even the other guy, the third running back. Yeah.
I almost said Deion Lewis. Deion Jackson, I think his name is.
Yeah, and he's outstanding too. So like, if they could just get their offensive line together, and that's why they want to put this guy in, so he's a little bit more mobile. He can run and maybe pass on the run and hit a tight end, which Matt Ryan cannot do. He can't do any of those rollouts. So on paper, I think they can't be worse, right? He'd have to turn the ball over a shitload of time.
Technically, they can because Indianapolis is 3-3-1. They're second in the division.
Yeah, but they're in another garbage division like the Bucs. So we'll talk about Thursday Night Football real quick. Smitty didn't watch it. I watched it. I picked Tampa Bay just because Tom Brady never loses 3 games in a row. They lost. So that's why I'm picking Tampa Bay this coming week because he's not going to lose 4 in a row. Eventually, he has to win. It's like picking the Lions. Eventually, they have to win.
That's not true. They went 0-16 one year.
1 year. Anyway, the Ravens, they just did. So the Bucs came out hot. The defense looked real good. I thought they were going to smoke this game. They scored some points, but then they sort of stalled in the second half, and they just got grounded and pounded. By the Bucks. By the Ravens. The Ravens didn't have Rashad Bateman. They didn't. Mark Andrews left early. Isaiah Likely is basically another wide receiver tight end like Mark Andrews, exactly like him. I think he went 6 for 7 or caught 8 passes. Had 2 touchdowns. Like, he was just crushing people. But we knew he was going to be good anyway. But it's just how the Ravens are built. The Ravens are built to run all the time. So they can win these ugly games. They ended up winning 27-22. So it's not like they crushed the Bucks. It's another ugly Thursday night football. Nobody plays real well. But I lost another pick'em. So
who's leading that league in the pick'em, by the way?
You are, sir.
Because I'm the fucking man.
So that was Thursday night. So come Friday morning, bombshell news: Tom Brady got divorced.
Yeah.
So
tough to see.
I think this is great. Nobody wants to go through a divorce, but like now that it's done, I think that just like lifts a bunch of weight off of him, because he didn't look good. He looks sick. Like, he looks exhausted. If you see him, he looks like physically drained, and I don't think that's from football. I think that's just like life stress is killing him. So I think without that family drawing him away from football, I think he can refocus and, turn it around. The saving grace is the Bucks are in the worst division. I think they're 3-4 and are like leading the division or tied for the division.
Is it the worst division?
I think they're tied with Atlanta, and we know Atlanta's not going anywhere.
It is the worst division, only slightly above the NFC West, where Seattle's leading the division at 4-3.
Yeah, and Atlanta. Yeah, so technically Atlanta is beating them because they haven't played, but Atlanta has 3 wins. Tampa Bay has 3 wins.
Yeah.
Carolina and the Saints each have 2. So that is the only saving grace there for the Bucks. But they just lost Shaq Barrett to a torn Achilles. So that's not good. I think the Bucks defense hasn't been playing as well. I think the Bucks should trade for Roquan Smith from the Bears, because the Bears are already willing to ship people out. I'm not sure if Roquan Smith plays the same linebacker position that Shaq Barrett plays for the Bucks, because one's a 3-4, one's a 4-3. I'm not exactly sure. So anyway, I think the Bucks need to go get a couple linebackers. So after that, let's move on to the Patriots review of last week. Did you watch that game?
I did. I was in and out. I was actually working on Sunday, which wasn't great. No, sorry, it was Monday night game. I was working Monday night. I think I worked almost till midnight on Monday, which was awful.
Yeah, it didn't look good. We went down early. So Mac Jones, 3-and-out, throws an interception, gets pulled from the game, which I'm okay with. Like, you literally didn't make a first down. I think you only completed 1 or 2 passes. And then Zappy came in and gave him a spark, which I'm fine with. But I don't really think there's a controversy. I keep hearing about it, but like, we know what Mac Jones is. We know Mac Jones can play well in the system. He almost won Rookie of the Year last year. He made the Pro Bowl last year. I understand that was last year. I knew Mac Jones was going to have a problem this season with the offense because Josh McDaniels is gone. So now he's dealing with Matt Patricia, who's a defense coordinator, and Joe Judge, who's a special teams coordinator. So I think they're learning how to run offense for the first time, really. They know how to scheme against it. But also, I think they're running 2 different offenses. So when we see Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones is having to read defenses and do a lot more. And Bailey Zappi, when he comes in, he's under center doing play action. And they're like, if he's open, throw it away. Like, there are no other options. Like, they're very protected. It's almost like running when we were watching Cam Newton. Like, and the game.
It's not like we were watching Cam Newton.
Well, in the sense that the games that Cam Newton looked good, it's because he only had one read. If that guy wasn't open, run. Like, those were the options. Mac Jones is actually like playing quarterback. The other ones are not, to some degree.
So to this point, I listened to a podcast. and one of the people on the podcast made a lot of good kind of quarterback breakdown for this, right? So for starters, Mac Jones in college played at Alabama, obviously, run first offense. They ran a ball a lot. I think he had over his 3 or 4 years, and I don't remember the numbers. I should have brought him up. Didn't have him in front of me. He had something like 800 completions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bailey Zappi at Western Kentucky had a pass-first offense, and he had something like almost 1,400 completions. That's 600 more completions than Mac Jones ever had.
Mm-hmm.
The offense that Matt Patricia wants to run is it's a run-first offense mixed with a pass-first guy. I don't know if I'm explaining that well. He wants to run the ball, but he wants to air it out a lot. So Bailey Zappi fits a lot better in that because he threw the ball a hell of a lot more than Mac Jones. The only problem, you see Zappi gets balls batted down a lot. He's shorter than Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is very tall. Mac Jones is like 6'2", 6'3" maybe.
6'3". But that release point, a couple inches below, right, is can make all the difference. So what they got to do, if I agree with you, I think Mac Jones, it's his job. It's Mac Jones's job, and it really should be, because I think Mac is the guy. And
I don't believe there's a real controversy.
No.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that a little bit. So this goes back to what I was talking about systems and how Bill Belichick does not care who the quarterback is as long as they don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
That's all because Belichick's on defense. He only cares about that. I shouldn't say that. He cares about everything, but that's his main focus. Same thing with Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't care what running back, just don't fumble. I can put you in there. Eventually, you're going to break through. Eventually, it's going to work. I think that's how it is for the Patriot offense as well as quarterback. Now, if you have a better passer, like Matt Jones is a better passer, in my opinion, than Zappi is. I think he's better. I think he's more accurate. Maybe not he doesn't have as strong an arm. I think Zappi has a stronger arm of the two. But Mac Jones has played against higher level competition for longer, and he played at Alabama as opposed to Western Kentucky.
So you say that, but you figure Mac Jones at Alabama, those wide receivers at Alabama are pretty friggin' good.
Oh yeah, they're all.
Usually those guys are pretty wide open. Where at Western Kentucky, you probably had to fit it into smaller windows.
So, sure, but I still think Mac Jones is a better guy.
Agreed.
When it comes to a football knowledge and stuff like that, and knowing what to do and what he's reading, as far as that goes, because like he was teaching Bill O'Brien the Alabama offense when he came down there.
I think, yeah, no. I think his
so I think
football IQ is higher.
So I think Mac Jones is trying to work with Patricia and Judge, and probably knows more about football than both of them. As far as
offensive side, yeah, agreed.
But back to the system part about it. So I think the Patriots. So people were trying to talk about this controversy, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's Bill Belichick, flexing and saying how I can win with a 4th round pick. I didn't need Brady." There might be something to that. In the regards that I don't think the Patriots picked Mac Jones at 15 because they wanted him. I think they picked him because he was available. I think they wanted Micah Parsons, but Dallas went right above him, like two or three picks above him, and snagged Micah Parsons from him. Because in all the mock drafts, the Patriots were getting Micah Parsons was going to the Patriots. And so I think they just kind of took whoever was left, and that probably wasn't even Bill Belichick's decision. That was probably Dave Ziegler, who went to the Raiders with Josh McDaniels. So now that McDaniels left and Ziegler left, I think the power of GM went back to Belichick this year, and then he just nabbed another quarterback, which seemed kind of weird because you just found your franchise guy last year. Why would you draft one in the 4th round this year? So there could be something to that. They're very similar quarterbacks as far as like height and stuff like that. Similar builds. They're both kind of accurate. Both have decent arms. We talked about some of the differences. Like Jones is a little bit taller. I think Jones' acumen is a little bit smaller. I think he's a little bit more accurate. But like, there's not a talent difference between them. Where like, one's Peyton Manning and one's Eli Manning. Like
Sure.
It's not that kind of difference.
No, but I do think so. The offensive line, back to what I was saying, the offensive line, if Zappe comes in, being short of the offensive line has to not chop block, but make sure those defensive linemen can't jump up. Similar to what they do.
You just hold them down.
Similar to what they do for Kyler Murray, similar to what they do for Russell Wilson, some of those shorter quarterbacks, being able to throw over the middle, which is a necessity in this league. Getting that squared away and making sure that, again, those offensive linemen are able to not chop block, but make sure that they block where the defensive linemen can't jump up and bat balls.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they traded Mac Jones next year in the offseason to a team that wants. They could. Depends if he keeps turning the ball over. Zappe's going to be playing. I think that's how Bill sees it. Bill doesn't care too much about who's who and whatever. Neither one's making any money, so I don't think Bill really cares.
Well, Mac Jones is making first round money.
Sure, but it's not. I mean, that's how you win a Super Bowl, right? You have a guy on rookie contract.
Yep.
It really depends on whether or not Matt Patricia and Joe Judge evolve as offense coordinators or not. So
I think that's what they need to do next year is find an offensive guy.
Hey, Nathaniel Hackett might be looking for a job.
Bring in Nick Saban. Bring him up from Alabama.
Bill O'Brien might be available. He's Alabama's offense coordinator.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if there's anything else left to talk about the Bears. We just couldn't.
It was bad. That defense couldn't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah, so like it seemed like some plays we had a spy, and the week before I saw the Bears play and somebody had a spy all the time. Got him every time.
The only problem is what the Patriots are doing. They were doing a spy with like
a nose tackle.
Nose tackle. Like that guy's not going to catch fucking Justin Fields. Are you shitting on my grandmother's rug?
No, you basically need a safety to come down or a corner to just come down or linebacker.
Even a linebacker.
But it has to be a fast
Bentley,
linebacker.
Yeah. Bentley would be all right, although he's a little bigger.
But they had no answer for Fields, which is amazing because that offense sucks.
It's bad.
And so lose to the Bears, which I'm pretty sure 90% of the country had the Patriots winning that game. And we got beat pretty handedly.
Yeah. What was it, 33-14?
Something like that. It was terrible. So the Patriots, anyway, Zappe came in, threw 2 touchdowns, and gave us a spark. Second half, didn't do dick. So
no, that's why I think
I don't know if that's an offensive
Mac Jones game.
Right. So I don't know if that's Zappe wasn't playing well or played bad or the offense coordinators didn't make any adjustments. Because the Bears defense is actually pretty good. It's their offense that blows.
Agreed.
But anyway, we couldn't do anything against them. So I blame Patricia and Joe Judge. So moving on.
We're on to the Jets.
Yeah, we're on to the Jets. So I understand that we couldn't beat the Bears, but I don't think the Jets defense is the Bears defense. And I think the Jets offense is even worse than the Bears offense because Breece Hall just went down. He was their offense. And they just lost their left tackle. Vera Tucker, he's out again, but this time with a tricep injury. He's out for the year now. And then Corey Davis is out with a knee injury. So I don't know who Zach Jones is really throwing to. He's going to throw to Garrett Wilson. And then I'm assuming they have a tight end.
Yeah, it's Ty Conklin.
Okay, he's not good.
He's not bad. He's a serviceable tight end.
Sure. He's like Kyle Rudolph. He's all right.
Kyle Rudolph had a lot of good years in the NFL.
Yeah, when he was younger. He hasn't had one in 5 years. They have Michael Carter. They have James Robinson. This is going to be his first week, so they could just give him a bunch of runs up the middle.
Are they even going to suit him up?
Sure. He just won't. I don't know how much he's going to know off the first week. So
what do I do? Run the A-cap.
Okay.
I could do
so Garrett Wilson's out there. Who's the other guy? Their other Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore wanted to get traded like last week. So I'm not even sure if he's playing this week. I know he sat out last week because they're like, I don't know, he's a second-year guy, and he's like, I want to be traded because I'm not being used in the offense. Okay. So I'm not even sure if he's playing this week. So for those reasons, based on injuries, I think the Pats just win, and I think we've won, 12 in a row, 14 in a row against the Jets, something stupid.
Yeah, I don't know, but I still stand by my bet with you. Patriots won't win over 2.5 division games. I am expecting one of the best ribeyes that Sarah's ever made.
What's this bet?
You don't remember the bet? We made it week 1 or week 2 or whenever we did our pick'em.
And what did I say?
You expected Patriots to have 3 or 4 division wins.
Oh, sure.
And I said I bet they don't win more than 2.
Well, they're going to be the Jets this week.
I think they split with the Jets, lose both to Miami, both to the Bills.
Maybe.
Yeah, bet doesn't look so fucking good now, does it?
I mean, how many division games have we played? 1?
1.
Did we win? No, we lost. That was week 1, right? Yeah. I'm taking the Patriots this week. The Jets, it's one of those things. Until you do it, I'm not believing it. And the Jets just never beat us. So,
you said that about Brady on Thursday.
I did.
And he did it.
I can't be wrong all the time.
You would never get this. You would never get this. And then you get out and you get this.
So who are you taking this week?
I mean, I'm taking the Patriots.
All right.
Because honestly,
Zach Wilson has like 8 interceptions against us. Like, he's going to give us the ball.
I'm pretty sure
somebody's having a pick 6.
So
it's going to be an ugly game, but we're going to win. We just always find a way to win.
Maybe the Jets are 5-2.
Yeah. Most of those were with Joe Flacco playing. That's different.
They did win the first 3 weeks with Joe Flacco, and then since Wilson's coming back, he's 2-2.
So in fantasy football, I would like to announce that I started 2-0 in both leagues, and now I'm 2-5 in both leagues.
Yeah, you're dog shit.
One team has a chance to come back, and one team I've already sold the farm. Smitty's been making some moves in fantasy. Smitty's realized
Dynasty. Dynasty, I'm selling off.
In both leagues.
I mean, I kind of sold off in my league. Gave away or traded away Dak, Aaron Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Because your team sucks. Me and Travis have been trying to tell you to sell for like 3 years.
You realize I won in Hopper's league last year and made it to the championship the other. Oh, didn't I beat you in one of them? That's right.
That was in the playoffs. Don't worry about that.
So, in my redraft leagues, one of them I started off like fucking bad out of hell. I won the first 4. What is this, week 8 or week 7?
Week 8.
Week 8. So I won the first 5, and now I'm 5-2. So that one's a little tough. The team hasn't been playing up to expectations. And then the other league is the league with my company.
See, that's in your league. My team is just not playing up to expectations, and I have the most points against. So basically, I've taken everyone's best shot.
I almost have the most points against. I'm 3rd in points against in my company's league. Oh, no, I lied. I was looking at the wrong team. No, I'm not really that close. Like middle of the pack. But as far as points scored, I'm in 4th.
So in our dynasty leagues, I think it's good to see some movement from some other teams finally.
As far as trades or like league
trades.
Movement or
trades activity. Besides,
I was able to make 2 with O'Neal.
I know, right?
And honestly, they were fair trades on both sides, and he actually was. Once I got to a point where I was like, hey, this is what I'm looking to give away, and this is what I want. Then we started talking, and it went back and forth, and I can't give it away for that, but I understand where you're coming from, all that stuff. So
that's the fun part of the trading.
Yeah.
Finding the values and stuff like that. That's what I enjoy about it anyway.
But I will say in both leagues, especially this week alone, I don't have a quarterback to start. I have about 12 quarterbacks between the two teams, and I don't have a quarterback to start.
Yeah, they're either on bye weeks, hurt, suspended.
I have in my starting quarterback position, I have Joe Flacco in one league and Bailey Zappi in another.
Bailey Zappi could play. Yeah, no, I mean, the biggest thing that I have with fantasy and making trades, well, one, I want to make trades all the time, and there are only like 3 or 4 owners in our leagues that actually like are as hyperactive as I am, or are willing to listen anyway. At that time, you have to it's about timing, and then you also have to have something they want. So a lot of times I want things from them, they might not want what I'm selling. So there is that, and so sometimes I force some trades. The only trade that I'm actually upset about in one of the leagues is I traded for Darren Waller, and I think he's played like 3 games for me since I traded for him a year ago.
That's a tough look, bud.
Yeah, and it was a first and a second and like another player. Like it, but that was for last year. I was trying to win last year, and it's kind of hurting me now. Thank God Pat Fryermuth's my second tight end. So enough about fantasy football. We'll talk about some MLB. So we're just glad the Red Sox season is over. The Phillies are in the World Series. They're playing the Astros. Astros beat the Yankees, so that's good. The Yankees are out. Phillies lead 1-0, 1 game to none. And then Smitty's going to take it away here with some Bruins talk.
Yeah. So for those who haven't been watching the Bruins, they've been on fucking fire, and it's awesome to watch because so many people had them really struggling at the beginning of the season without, especially McAvoy and Marchand not playing. Well, they came out of the gates ready to roll. They're a fucking wagon. They're 8-1 in the first 9 games. They're averaging 4.3 goals a game, giving up 2.3 goals a game. The only one that they kind of let get away from them, they lost their only loss. They lost to Ottawa 7-5, but it was not a great game on really any side of the puck. But they still scored 5 goals. You expect if you're going to score 5, you're going to win a lot of games.
Win 3, you're going to win most games.
So they were saying at 7-1, they played last night and beat Columbus 4-0. Jack was saying that in this 7-1 tied their best start or most points out of the first 8 games of the season, I guess, when the game started. They had 14 points in 8 games. 14 out of a possible 16. So it tied like 1939 or something like that team that went out and did it when there were only 6 teams.
Right.
Now they're 8-1, so it's the best start the Bruins have ever had, and I'm excited to see this team. Marchand came back last night. He had surgery on both hips. He came back a month early and then just went out and scored 2 goals. I wanted to look up.
How did he come back a month early?
Great rehab. I don't know. I was really surprised by that because if he was 23, I'd say, yeah, okay. You heal a lot faster as a young guy.
30.
He's 32, maybe. Yeah. So it was really surprising to see him come back that early, but it's awesome. I don't know if you saw it. I don't remember if we talked about it or not, but was it Tuukka Rask? I think it was Tuukka Rask. Had a wedding this summer, and a bunch of people went over there. And he was there dancing and jumping around, and so clearly the surgery was successful if he was able to do that.
Team, I'm rehabbing and show me all the wedding videos. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I wanted to look at the game because I wanted to see what his time on ice was, because it was a decent amount through 2 periods. I think he was leading the team in time on ice. All right, I got it right here. Oh shit! It wasn't. He didn't play yesterday. It was. He played. What was that? Thursday night. He played Thursday night. He didn't do the back-to-back. So Thursday was the game against the Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
And Marchand had 17 minutes and 30 seconds of time on ice. So he was second only to Jake DeBrusk. Sorry, for forwards. I mean, the defenseman obviously had a lot more time. Brandon Carlo had 22 minutes. But, yeah, it was great to see. Nice to see him back. They won. He scores 2 goals. It's crazy how good the team looks right now. So with him coming back, they had to start unloading some guys, right? Because they had too many. Jack Studnicka is the first casualty, and he got traded to Vancouver for goalie Michael DiPietro and the rights to Jonathan Myrenberg, which is he plays in the Swedish Elite League right now. So we'll see how that goes. The Bruins always get some pretty good Swedes. You know, they have their eye on the Swedish leagues pretty well. So hopefully they can, or they've got their eyes on Jonathan and able to get a good player there. I mean, neither of them will obviously play for the Bruins this year. If DiPietro plays, that means both Swayman and Allmark probably got injured, which wouldn't be great.
Sure.
So I'm excited to see where they go. They don't play again until Tuesday, I think it is. I think they play Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's on. Isn't that
ESPN
on ESPN
Plus? Yeah. Oh, it's no, it's on ESPN. That's right. They're on ESPN, and then Thursday they play. I don't remember who they play, but they're on ESPN Plus. They're not on Nesson again until Saturday.
And then they're on Hulu like another day.
So it's ESPN Plus Hulu is that game on Thursday.
Nice. So you guys saw a guest appearance of my cat Chrysanthemum.
Yep. He's a big fucker.
Yeah, he's like 10, 12 pounds.
Is that big for a cat? I don't know.
That's huge for a cat.
Okay. Big in Japan?
Huge. So in Celtics talk, not that we have a lot of Celtics talk, but they started 3-0 and now they've lost 2 in a row. Not that we really talk about any other team, but the Lakers are 0-5, and so basically,
awesome to see.
So basically, that's the elephant in the room when it comes to the NBA right now is how they suck.
What did they? I heard something the other day that they were bringing Russell Westbrook in off the bench, and he got injured.
Yeah.
And I think it was him that said, "Well, I'm not made to come in off the bench. So he pulled a hamstring or whatever it was.
Yeah, he blamed that exactly.
Yeah.
But so the GM needs to get fired and the team needs to get blown up, essentially, because Anthony Davis is old, can't play. Russell Westbrook is old and can't play. LeBron can still play, but he's not like the focal point of a team anymore. He can still distribute and still chip in, but like he shouldn't be carrying the load for a team. He needs to go find like a young team that already has a core. But basically the NBA is built for like teams with like spot up shooters, 3-pointers, and the Lakers don't have anybody that can shoot. So, I mean, it's going to be a bad year. Which is great. I don't like LeBron anyway, or the Lakers for that matter. So I think it's gonna be awesome.
So what did they? Getting back to Russell Westbrook, there was somebody did a post game interview of him, and this is when he like scored 2 points, was 0 for 12 from the field or something like that. And they were like, so how did you play tonight? He's like, I played pretty well. You know, it was a pretty decent game for me. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they interviewed LeBron, and he's like, well, he missed some shots, but everybody misses shots. So, like, whatever. And to be fair, if you're a shooter, like, just keep shooting the ball. The only problem is that he's not a shooter.
Yeah, he's never been a shooter.
He's a drive to the basket guy.
Drive to the basket, yeah.
So, I don't know why they think he's going to be a shooter all of a sudden. But anyway, he was washed up a couple years ago. So for him, like, basketball's a young man's game, kind of. And then same thing, if you go to the basket that many times, you get fouled that many times, like, that just takes a toll on the body, in my opinion. But enough about basketball. I hope the Nets lose too. They suck.
I know. It's so good to see these teams losing. I love it. Forcing teams to make monster deals, and then the team sucks.
Mm-hmm. The Celtics or the Nets. So, what's his name? Kevin Durant wanted to get traded, and then the Celtics were like, "We'll trade you Jaylen Brown and some other things for him," and that would have been the best deal for the Celtics. But they were like, "Nah, we can't get him away." Kevin Durant's old. Like, I don't know what I understand he's still good, but like, they're not gonna do anything. The Nets are not gonna do anything, in my opinion.
1-4. James Harden's bad.
Yeah, and Simmons is bad.
Simmons, oh my God.
Whatever team he plays for, he's bad.
He plays for the Nets.
Yeah, he's not good. So I mean, they should have just done it just so that's trading Russell Westbrook away. That's like addition by subtraction type of deal. And same thing with like Ben Simmons. Somebody said that they should trade Simmons for Russell. I gotta laugh at that. Anyway, moving on. So I can't wait for the golf tournament next weekend.
Yeah.
I saw a commercial today for the Players Championship in March 2023. There's a commercial about the 17th hole, and they're like, "Oh, it just gets in your head. There's so much water."
Love it.
Yeah, so this tournament's probably going to be like the last time we go out and play golf this year outside.
Probably. I think the course closes after this. I don't think
Sure, but I don't see us going to another course and playing.
Probably not.
I think, if anything, we're going to go to a simulator someplace, have some beers.
There's been so much fucking rain.
Yeah, lately in the past month, we haven't played at all. You guys have been on the road, but I haven't played.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to do that tournament, the Superintendent's Revenge. It's always a fun tournament where, if people don't understand what that is, it's not, you don't play the normal golf course. You play like 12 holes, but you're usually shooting from one tee box to another hole that's like next door to a different green.
Yeah, and they have silly rules, right? We played what was it? We played one, it was like two's tee box to one's tee box or something like that.
Well, it's usually a tee box to a different green.
I know, but one year we played one's tee box, like up the hill. Remember, it was all dug up, and we were putting on it. And
I remember they made hole one like an extra 200 yards because they changed where the tee box was.
Put it at the corner of the driving range.
Yeah, so we had to go even farther down. That was pretty neat. That was fun.
The first year we played, it was number 5.
5 heading up to 6's green.
Up to 6's green. That was cool.
I was pissed off because that was the first shot of the day, and I hit an orange ball up there. We couldn't find it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Should have been right on the green. I don't understand. I've no another video.
You had to play 10. I think it might have been last year. You had to play 10's tee box straight through the woods to 11's green.
Yep.
They'll put in a phantom flag. They'll put in I don't remember if it was 9 or 18's green, but it was like the cup that just fit the golf ball. Yeah,
so that's brutal. Because it's got a reduced flag.
Yeah.
Reduced cup or whatever. That was brutal. I mean, it's supposed to be tough. We just like playing because it's fun. We never win. So I can't wait for that. I also can't wait until we go and do some X golf or simulator golf this year. I'd like to play it more often.
Sure.
One, just to stay in swing shape, but also I'd like to dial in my clubs and know exactly how far they go.
Yeah, Fairlawn right over here is what, like 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away. They're supposed to be putting in some sims.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know that we played Brunswick, we played X golf last year. I would just like to really know how far I hit things.
Sure.
I have an idea how far I hit them, but people are usually pretty bad about that. Because our driving range at this particular course is actually bad because it's down a hill, and usually there's a lot of wind play, and so like we never really know how far we're going.
All I know is I crush it.
But I usually lose the ball on that driving range for some reason. I just usually can't follow it. So I hope that cat doesn't dive bomb me.
I hope he does. It'd be fucking hilarious.
So besides golf, I had a whole home generator put in. I had some car repairs today. That was great.
Yeah, fuck that.
I did some weatherproofing around the house. Been watching all my programs because I'm old now. They're just called programs. So Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power, I've seen all that. House of Dragons, seen all that. Andor, I'm up to date, I believe. We're still working on a name for the pod to change, but I'll give it some more thought here. And we'll work on something, come up with an idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly just work. Yeah, we're getting cold now. I got to winterize my house. I'm wearing this because we're in cold season.
Soft as puppy shit.
I am, but this is really soft. But it's warm. It's gonna be 27 degrees tonight.
And like 63 tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever. But it's cold at night.
So what have you been up to, bud? Traveled the past couple weeks. Last weekend, Crowley came home. It was a visit for a little while. It was his birthday on the 21st, and so Bemis came up from Rhode Island. That first night, that Friday night, we went to Navarre, and then Sam and John Canada came out and visited, and we went to dinner at Nosh. We were going to go to, what's the taco place? Taco Escobar. Mm-hmm. But it was like an hour and 20-minute wait, and we're like, it's like 8 o'clock already. I'm not waiting that long. So ended up going to Nosh right across the street, had some beers, hung out, and then Bemis and I had to drive back here, from Portland. So we didn't go too crazy, and we came home later than expected. It was probably close to, I don't know, 11:30 by the time we got home. But, for the most part, it was just hanging out. But then, no, maybe it was a little earlier than that. Maybe it was like 10:30. But anyway, I guess Crowley went out because Sam and John were coming into downtown Portland to meet a friend to go have beers at Navarre. Well, Crowley went in with them to go have more beers at Navarre, and then Sam and John are walking off, and Crowley's like, I'm gonna have one more. So he dipped into Bullfini's, had one more. I guess he was out until 1, went to bed. Next morning, we're texting. We had these plans. We went to Holy Donut first. Well, I'll say first thing. It was like 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And Crowley was still feeling like death. We
Sure.
get to round 1. You ever been to round 1?
Yeah.
The place is terrible.
I mean, it's like a little kid arcade.
We wanted to go bowling because Patrick wanted to go bowling.
Sure. It does have bowling there too, yeah.
And it was a disaster. So for starters, Crowley was feeling like shit. He went and threw up in their bathroom, which was great. But, we paid for 5 of us to go bowling. Granted, one of them was a kid. It was almost $100.
Bananas.
For 2 strings. So we're okay. So we go over to the bar. We order a pitcher of beer. We come back. John and Sam and Casey were sitting by the lane we were using, and they got the game up and going, and so we're practicing, getting warmed up, all that stuff. Well, turns out you're supposed to do all that practicing beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So it ate time into our strings,
Mm-hmm.
into our boxes, and so we ended up not being able to finish. And so the woman comes over, she's like, well, I went up and I was like, can I pay for one string? I mean, it was like 6 boxes for us to finish. So 2 for 2 people, or 1 for one person, and then 5, 1 for each of us to finish. She's like, no, we can't let you do that. If you buy another string, it's for one person, not for 5. And so I was like, well, so we're just not going to be able to finish. She's like, nah, I'm sorry, you're just not going to be able to. It's like, okay. So Crowley and I finished anyway. We just kept track on our phone of what the score, because it was just him and I battling for first place on the second string.
Sure.
So Bemis walked over and he's talking to this woman and he's giving it to her. He's like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's not busy enough for you to need to kick us out, and you didn't tell us any of this. Because she told him, she was like, yeah, you were supposed to warm up before you actually set up the game. He's like, you didn't fucking tell us that.
Right.
So anyway, we had 3 pitchers between Bemis, Canada, Crowley, and I. Then we said, screw it. 4 of us went over to Allagash, had some beers there, had some lunch or lupper kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to Barcadia. Have you been to the new place at Barcadia? So it used to be on Preble, a really small place.
Yeah, across from Slab.
Yeah, that's where we went to dinner. I was wondering where the fuck we went to dinner.
Yeah.
But
Pizza
anyway,
place across the street.
Yep,
Anyway.
yep. So now it's kind of around the corner, and it's where Portland City Music Hall. Portland.
Okay, so that's way down the street, but yeah.
Radio? No, what's it called?
State Theater? I don't know.
No, it's not the State. It's not too far away. It's like it's not too far away from Slab where it was.
I don't know. I haven't been up there.
But anyway, yeah. So we ended up going there. Barcadia, it was a lot bigger spot.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. It was too small, and it was like a long building, not wide.
So now it's kind of both. It's got a nice bar in the top. You walk downstairs. We played bubble hockey. We played foosball. We played some 4-player X-Men. Yeah, it ended up being a good night. And then we ended up going to Slab to grab some dinner. And then we met Naren at Paper Tiger, which is the old Five Guys spot, I think it is. Right across, like right next to that garage by Gritty's.
Yeah. What do they serve?
A lot of things. It was a pretty decent place. They were kind of a hipster type place to drink, but they had Coors Original stubby bottles, so I had a couple of those suckers.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, overall great day. Great weekend. It was a lot of fun to see those guys. I told Crowley to come up tomorrow because he flies back to Seattle on the 2nd, I think it is when but he said he might extend his stay. So I hope he does it until the weekend.
Sure.
All right. What else I got going on? So fiber internet came yesterday. So excited about that. Finally able to get rid of Spectrum really once and for all. We went to the pool today in South Portland. They had like a open pool day. Did some yard work. I'm excited for tomorrow. Gendron's going to come over with Addie.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And I texted Canada. He never sent anything back. I don't know what him and Sam are doing. But are you and Sarah coming over?
I know at least me.
Yep.
Yep. So
I don't know if the wife will. She's been sick for about 2 weeks. So
yeah, that's what you're saying. She had flu.
Yep.
But do that. Have some wings, whether they're smoked or baked or whatever. I'll give you some Apollo sauce.
Sure. It's not that bad.
Really? You were the one that was like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. Well, and Patrick. But anyway.
No, I'd do it again.
And then last thing, I mean, Patrick's starts hockey next Saturday.
Nice.
So that'll be good. He's excited about that. Halloween is coming on Monday. He's he can't eat any candy, so it's not that big of a deal. So Casey and I have been crushing it.
Yeah.
Do you get trick-or-treaters at your house?
No. We're on a dead-end road.
Yeah.
I think we might just shut off the light anyway and eat the candy.
So you buy the candy and then eat it all yourself.
27 Reese's. I don't know what to do. I think we don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters, even when we did keep the light on. Usually it's just like one couple that was like over there.
Yep.
So it's not really worth it. We're not in like a development or anything. So
you weren't the ones that got the full-size candy bars?
No. When is hell? I know it's on the 1st. Sorry, it's on Monday, but won't they just do it on like Sunday night instead?
No, it's not like the fireworks. They trick or treat on the holiday.
Really? I thought a lot of cities did it like on the weekend instead of having it Monday night. All right. It's gonna be crazy.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. That's what I'm gonna do. Just sit and watch Monday Night Football and eat candy.
Right. Who's got the games this weekend? Or sorry, the Sunday night, Monday night games. Ooh, Michigan State's going on right now.
Cincinnati, Cleveland is Monday night. Sunday night is Green Bay against Buffalo, which in theory should have been a good game, but Buffalo's just going to shit on them.
Yeah. In Orchard Park.
So the 425 games, you get the Rams in San Francisco, which will probably be on TV, but like the Giants and Seattle's gonna be going at it. That's gonna be an interesting game.
London game tomorrow.
I want to see the Miami Detroit game. Oh, London game. Oh man, I gotta watch football at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow.
Make sure your picks are in.
Yeah, they are. Not that it matters, but
yeah, because your team's awful.
Whole day of football.
Or your picks have been awful.
What time are you making me breakfast?
You?
Football starts at 9:30, so that means I got to be at your house an hour early. Watch pregame.
You know.
I want to know what Michael Irvin's gonna say.
You know full well you're not going to be up by 8:30. So
I woke up at 10 today. That big black cat woke me up at 10:30.
Yeah, I woke up at 5:45.
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
Why?
Dark
all right,
then,
we're gonna go. We got to catch up on House of Dragons. So wrap this thing up.
All right, you can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, also Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Podchaser, Buzzsprout, and Google Podcasts. You can now watch episodes on YouTube on the New England Sports Guys channel. Once we find a new name, we'll change all that. But that's it. That's a wrap.
Should we do a poll? I don't know how many people would respond to it, but
I think once we narrow it down to some names, then we could do a poll.
Okay.
We should actually talk to Johnny tomorrow and Andy tomorrow and see if they have any ideas. Maybe even Bemis.
Bemis's ideas are fucking awful.
Sure. I don't mind that Kickers one. But that would just be like a small segment. It couldn't be a whole show.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. I got to go before Zeb jumps on me.
I hope he fucking mauls you.
I mean, he did kick me in the face. You can't really see it on camera, but he did kick me in the face a couple days ago. And I thought I was going to die. It was bleeding everywhere. I'll see you tomorrow. Go Patriots. Go Lions.
Lions?
Yeah. They're 1-5. They got to win a game.
They already won one. They're still ahead of the 2016 or 17
Lions. I'm going all in next year on the Lions. Next year. As long as they don't fire Dan Campbell and stay the course, next year is going to be awesome. I like what they're doing there.
They should improve.
Yes. They're in a bad division now.
I think they were always in a bad division. It was just Green
They
Bay.
were the bad ones in the division.
Yeah.
But now the Packers are coming down off their high horses.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is getting older. He's not quite as good as he used to be.
Oh,
I never thought he was
we sort
as
of skipped
amazing
that,
as
that
yeah.
part. Aaron Rodgers came out and basically said his team sucks, and that's what he's doing to like motivate them. The only problem is he's playing like garbage too, so like it's going the kettle black. Like it'd be different if he was like a 7-time Super Bowl champion and like he said that, like he had like, you know, something to back it up with. Instead, you know, yeah, he's won a Super Bowl, but he's, you know, the back-to-back MVP, but I don't know about you, but I think Aaron Rodgers' career is underwhelming compared to expectations. He's only been to 1 Super Bowl. Eli Manning's won 2.
Career underwhelming. He is him and Dan Marino are right up there for best regular season quarterbacks.
And Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning did win those 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Went to 3. But like I don't know, people anointed Aaron Rodgers as the greatest thing, you know, and he doesn't hold a candle to Tom Brady.
He just sucks anyway. I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, a lot of people don't like his you know, views and stuff like that, and
His demeanor.
Yeah, I don't know. He thinks he's all that in a bag of chips, but we'll see.
Alrighty.
They're going to get blown out by Buffalo tomorrow night.
I know. I hope so. I hope they lose by 30.
Yeah. All right. Wrap it up.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. We'll catch everybody probably next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
All right. See ya.